What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review of Southern Charm season 2, episode 6. So yes, it's a week late. I'm still trying to get caught up from vacation. Excuse me. Um, so this episode, the more I learn, the more confused I am. I don't know about y'all with this whole Reagan situation. We see that she's planning her wedding, and she says she planned her first wedding in 24 hours. Why, Reagan? Why? What was the rush about? You weren't pregnant then, or at least we know of. What was the damn rush? Oh, because you were trying to hurry up. And let me tell y'all something. This is the conclusion that I've come to. The conclusion that I've come to is Reagan wanted Reese all along. Reagan couldn't have Reese. Reese was a playboy. He was out here doing his thing. She was one of his pieces. She wasn't the only piece. And Reagan decided, I'm going to show him I'm going to get married. And then he's going to really want me. And she got married to Jeff. And Reese didn't give a damn. That is, I've just come to the conclusion, excuse me, because nothing else makes sense in this whole equation with Reagan and Reese. Then we found out later on that Reagan never even met Reese's family until this second go around. So you weren't even that like anyway. But I'm like Tamika. I'm over the Reagan show. And it's funny because Reagan doesn't even, she's like, well, why isn't Tamika here? Why isn't Tamika this time? You're so caught up in your own shit and so self-centered in your own situation that you don't even see how you're alienating everyone else. But I'm way ahead of myself, y'all. I just had to get that off my chest before we kept going. So in this episode, Tamika's planning a joint birthday party with her brother Sonny. Her and Sonny's birthday are like a week apart. And as kids, they always had their parties together. But as adults, they just can't seem to get it together anymore because now they're adults with very specific opinions about things and they're brother and sister, but brothers and sisters, I can love you to death as my brother, but that don't mean that we always want to share opinions about things and that kind of thing. So, um, she's planning a surprise party for him, and it's gonna be a joint party, and it's the whole theme of 11 because Sonny's birthday is 11. Their dad's um number when he played for the Saints was 11, and something else is 11. Oh, I think it's the month of November, I think. Yeah, I think it's no. Yeah, I think it's November. So the whole thing is about 11s. So we see that. Justin is having surgery on his neck. We found out in an episode earlier that he had gotten into an accident. It was a hit and run. The person really plowed into him, and he's been having neck problems ever since. So we see him and Kelsey getting ready to go to the doctor, and he tells Kelsey very casually she thinks he's going to get a cortisone shot, and he's like, "Oh no, they're doing blading," and she was like, "Well, what?" Because remember, she's a nurse, so she understands exactly what's going on. She was like, "Whoa, what's going on now?" And she was like, Justin, you can't let, she was like, I've seen the end results. They are very painful and they don't normally really work. And why am I just finding out about this the day that we're taking you to the hospital? And he was like, oh, well, no, this is just a procedure before we get to that to see if that's what we should do. And she was like, but again, this is serious. This is a serious procedure. This is a serious situation that could have some serious side effects that would affect me. Why are we not having the conversation? Why are you just throwing it at me very casually on the way to the doctor? So Kelsey's thing is, I'm really pissed off about this, but now is not the time to start an argument. He's already nervous. There's a lot that has to happen. I'm just going to play good girlfriend, but we are going to definitely have to address this. And we see him go through the whole procedure of going under the anesthesia and all that good stuff. I mean, Reagan and the family are looking at venues. They looked at cakes. They're planning this wedding. But again, it's still a short window because I think she said they have like 2 or 3 weeks because, of course, they want to have the wedding before she starts the show because the family's big thing is there will not be an illegitimate child. And once again, I feel like this is all a plan on Reagan's part. The wedding didn't work the first time. You marrying another man didn't make him jealous enough to want to marry you. Oh, but I got one. We're a very Southern family, very old money, very all about appearances. So I know what's going to work. I'm going to pop up pregnant. Then he will have to marry me because neither one of the families are going to allow an illegitimate child into the family. And she says as much in the episode that basically they have to get married before she starts showing. Now you putting it all on here on the damn reality show, so everybody gonna know you was pregnant anyway. Not that people can't do math these days and figure shit out. And before people would be real polite about it and be like, 7 months later they had a baby, and people would be polite about the math. But now people just gonna come right out and be like, she must have been pregnant at the wedding. So it's just for appearances, but at the end of the day, everybody already knows. So neither here nor there. So and Reagan had this nice little fur one. It was real cute. That Chanel bag was real cute too. But they're looking at the venue, and it looks like Reese's mom is very overbearing. We're going to do it this way. I don't like that. I don't like this. Do this. Don't do that. But at the end of the day, they seem to have figured it all out. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Oh, I just woke up. I don't know why I'm yawning. But at the end of the day, they seem to have figured it all out. It looks like they know their venue. Looks like we see her later on in the episode doing dress shopping. And when she's doing dress shopping, none of her bridesmaids are there. And she sort of gives everybody a pass except for Tamika. And what's funny is she was like, well, Rachel's a mom, so I know she's really busy. And Kelsey's a nurse. And so I know she works a lot of hours. But Tamika's my best friend. She should be here. Okay, well, Tamika does both of those things. She's a mother and she works a job that requires a lot of time. So if you're gonna give them a pass, why you ain't giving everybody a pass? But I get what she's saying though, that Tamika's her best friend and Tamika should be there. Now, what I also find interesting is you don't have any other bridesmaids. Her bride man was there. Her really good friend, that's friends with her and Jeff. He was there, but you ain't had no other women in the wedding. I mean, maybe her sister was there. I don't remember, but anyway, neither here nor there. So she started to realize now that wait a minute, maybe everybody's not on board with this, or at least, well, no, she's so caught up in her own shit. She doesn't see it that way. She just doesn't understand why they're not there. And I do feel like a phone call should have been given. If you were told that the fitting or that that's tradition. What a bridesmaid does, you do the shit that's the kind of shit you do when you're a bridesmaid. You go to the wedding fittings and the dress, and you do all that stuff. That's part of your duty. So them not being there and nobody calling to tell her they weren't there, it's kind of all right. So on the other side of things, we see Jeff doing some soul searching. Jeff decided to go back to therapy. He knows that he said, I've always partied hard. I've always gone full throttle, and I always thought that I was the life of the party, and now I'm realizing that I'm the ass of the party. And I don't want to continue to alienate my friends and the people who love me. I need help. Now, I thought he was on his way to an AA meeting, but he was on his way to therapy, which is fine. And basically, the therapist told him what everybody else has been trying to say to him. Like, first of all, you're hurt. You're heartbroken and you are hurt. That's number one. Number two, you might need some time. And the fact that y'all share a social circle, and in this environment, because of the show, he has to be around Reagan because there are events that he has to go to for the show. Probably during the show's hiatus, you probably need to take an extended vacation somewhere. I ain't saying you got to go to the south of France or do a tour of Italy. You can go rent a cabin somewhere and sit on the damn lake and just chill out. Let your beard grow out. Go get you a damn dog. Well, they got a dog. And just chill out for a couple of weeks and just really figure it all out. But right now he sort of can't, you know, separate himself from Reagan for the purposes of the show. But when when they get done filming, you really need to just black out for a minute, Jeff. The other thing that was brought up was the fact that he still is not speaking to his family. And he admitted that he misses his family and that right at this point he just doesn't have anybody. He has his friends and that's it. And when his friends are busy or his friends have other things going on, he's got nothing. The thing with his family is a different animal because if I remember correctly, his family stole from him and really had no remorse about it. It'd be different if the family sort of kind of said, "Look, we were in a tight spot. We knew you had it." Like there was no apology, there was no remorse, there was no nothing. So I understand you miss your family, but for me, in order to reconcile, there has to be a level of accountability and a level of remorse. You know what I mean? Um, and it just didn't seem to be that from his family. Now, maybe his family would be more open to it now after 2 years of not speaking. Like, I don't know. I definitely think he might need to tap into it. Maybe not the whole family, but if there's one or two people that he feels like he can reach out to at this time, maybe. So, um, but I like to see that he's going to therapy. I hope that he's going to continue. That's something that'll come up in a minute about whether he follows through with stuff, but we'll get there in a second. Then we have this scene with Tamika, Barry, and Barry's son. Well, their son. Where Tamika's like, has your dad talked to you about sex yet? Okay, I got a couple of problems with this conversation. One, Tamika, don't embarrass that boy like that. I get it, and I understand that Tamika is a take the bull by the horns kind of person. But don't nobody want to talk to their mama, stepmom, or anybody else. No, not no little boy about sex. That's just number one. She was like, see, he didn't answer me. That means that you haven't talked to him about it. That means you haven't talked to him. No, that just means he don't want to talk to you. Because who does? What 16-year-old wants to talk to their mama about sex? Number two, Barry was using the excuse that he didn't have a dad and his mom didn't have to talk with him as to why he's ill-equipped to have the talk. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Not everything is nobody taught me how to do it, so I don't know how to do it. You're a man. You know what you would have wanted your mother to tell you or your father to tell you. You know what you didn't know about sex when you started dating. You know what you did know about sex when you started dating. You know about the myths and the lies that circulate in the locker room. Like you have all that information, Barry. You are equipped to sit down and have a conversation with your son about sex without you having to have had a conversation about sex. Like I call bullshit on that. The second thing, Tamika's thing is, we've given you too good of a life for you to screw it up because you want to screw. And Barry needs to have that conversation with him. What part of your brain told you that having a conversation about sex is going to stop somebody from having a child? Because if that were the case, half this population of the earth would be gone. It'd be like in the Avengers when just people just disappearing. If we were just to blink and say, okay, all the people whose parents talk to them about sex, no children, half the earth be gone. You know what I mean? Because the reality is, having the conversation gives information. It doesn't stop somebody from making a bad decision. Does it help? Of course it does. Do I think Barry needs to have the conversation? I do. I just don't want Tamika to feel like having the conversation is going to stop somebody from having a baby. I just want us to make sure we don't have that. We don't that's not our thought. But yeah, so the conversation needs to be had. Barry, you need to stop that bullshit. You didn't have a dad. I get it, but I promise you didn't have a dad, but you raised a son. And nobody show you how to raise a son, not a man, but you did it. So bullshit. I call bullshit. Anyway, um, the party. It was a cute party. It was a really nice party. It looked like it was an all black event. Everybody was supposed to wear black. And of course, the brother didn't know it was a surprise party, Sonny. So Sonny had on a blue suit. But that was cool because everybody else had on black. So that was cool. And we see a scene with him and Tamika really just kind of talking about how they grew up and, losing their father and the effect it had on them as a family. And it was a good moment. But we kind of already got that last season. I think we kind of got that situation a little bit. But, you know, it was a good scene. And it was good to see Tamika doing something for somebody other than Tamika. And she even brought that up. She was like, last year Tamika wouldn't have been doing this. And she right. Do I think that this year's Tamika is a better version of herself? I do. Do I think it's perfect? None of us are. So I shouldn't even say perfect because none of us are perfect. But like we'll get to that in a minute when she's having her conversation with Kelsey. Because I'm like, I hate. We'll get there. Well, shit, we already there. Jeff is at the party, and Rachel, who I love Rachel. When I tell you I love Rachel, every reality show needs a Rachel, and I love Rachel, and I love that jumpsuit Rachel ass had on. That thing was some kind of bad. Anyway, Jeff has a conversation with pretty much everybody, and he apologizes, he acknowledges, and he lets them know what he's doing. He apologizes for his behavior. He acknowledges the behavior. He acknowledges what he knows he needs to do, and he's letting them know what the plan is. He said, I'm on the wagon. I understand, I need to learn how to have a good time without drinking. I don't know if Jeff's an alcoholic or not, so I'm not going to say that he should be in therapy. I mean, he should be in AA or something like that. Maybe it really truly is he leans into, like, he can be perfectly sober for 2 or 3 weeks, but when he's in a stressful situation, he leans into alcohol. Maybe that is truly his situation. So I honestly am not here to make that conclusion about what Jeff can and can't do. What I will say is, um, he definitely uses alcohol as a crutch. So he said he's on the wagon and that he's not drinking at this particular event. And Rachel even said, you know what, if you're not drinking, I'm not drinking. And Jeff was like, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want you to stop having a good time for me. And she was like, no, you can't do this alone. And I got your back. And I'm here as a friend. And the other thing she should have said, or could have said, I would say she should have said, because I think she handled it well. The other thing she could have said was, and I can have a good time without alcohol. See what I'm saying? Um, Barry told him, "Look, I think you funnier, if not, just as funny, if not funnier, sober as you are drunk." Like, again, his friends are saying a lot of the right things, but unfortunately, like I said before, the biggest issue is he can't stop. He can't stop being around Reagan, because he spoke to her when she came in, but he didn't have an extended conversation or anything like that. We see Rachel have a conversation with Reagan, and I got a different glimpse of Reagan. I still have my opinion about this whole situation with Reagan, but I do understand a little bit. And Reagan was like, something she said earlier on in the episode too was, I was miserable and I faked it for 6 years being married to Jeff, and I'm just not anymore, and I don't care about anybody's opinion. Which again led me to my opinion at the beginning of this episode, I mean, of this review of, you married Jeff to make Reese jealous and it didn't work, and then you were stuck. Do I think that she loved Jeff? I do. Do I think that she loved Jeff the way somebody should love somebody before they get married? Maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. But I do think she loved Jeff. I don't think it was a total, I'm I don't love you. I don't think it was that. But I don't know if it was stay together the rest of my life kind of love. I think it was, I'm mad at the guy I really want to be with and I love you enough. That's just my opinion. Um and so she starts telling Rachel basically, look, this is what I've been dealing with for the last 6 years. He's not my problem anymore. Now y'all are starting to see, like, I was his crutch. I was the person always in his corner, always in his ear saying, stop, Jeff, don't. She was like, and I just can't be that person anymore. She said, Jeff doesn't follow through with stuff. He says it, he does it once to tell everybody, look, I did it, and then he doesn't follow through. And so that's what I was saying about, let's see if he follows through with this whole going to therapy, not drinking. Like, let's see where we are in 3 or 4 episodes, right? Which I think next episode we're probably gonna be right back where we started, but with good reason. That's another conversation. The other thing was, um, two other things went down at this party, and then I'm done. The other thing was, Reagan tried to speak to Tamika. Tamika spoke to her, and then she went on about her business. And so Reagan is sitting there like, well, what's the problem? I don't understand. Why is she mad at me? Why are we not speaking? Like, I don't know what I did. Um, and Tamika's thing was, I'm not having that conversation today. Like, this is my birthday party. It should be all about me. And of course, what is Reagan talking about? Her wedding. So every time Tamika walks over to where Reagan is, they're talking about the wedding. And of course, that pisses Tamika all the way back off, because it puts her right back where she's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Everything is about you. Why is everything about you? At my birthday party, why are we still talking about your wedding? But people have that type of, at parties, people have conversations. Anyway, so the other conversation was, Tamika did have a conversation with Kelsey about what went down at the housewarming. Now, at the actual housewarming, I don't think Tamika really did anything wrong. I think Kelsey overreacted and Tamika reacted. Um, but what Tamika was telling Kelsey was, I am woman, hear me roar. Like, she didn't apologize, at least not what they showed. She didn't say, you know what, she said, well, Justin talked to me about some things, and I never want you to feel, that I don't know what the right word is. I don't ever want you to feel like I'm coming for you or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. She said, but then she went off on this whole tangent about, Kelsey, you are stronger than you think you are. And I just want you to just be the woman that you can be. Like, you are stronger than you know you are. Like, it was just really crazy. I was just like, are you apologizing? And basically, Tamika's thing is, Tamika doesn't respect Kelsey because Tamika feels like Kelsey is giving her power over to Justin. And because Justin is her friend and Tamika has seen Justin probably bulldoze many women in his day, she just doesn't respect Kelsey because she feels like Kelsey is a doormat for Justin. That's really what it boils down to. It's not even personal against Kelsey. I don't think she personally doesn't like Kelsey. I just think she doesn't like the fact that Kelsey is a doormat for Justin, in her opinion. Which brings me to the last little piece of this episode. We see Kelsey and Justin talking. Once again, Justin comes home and he's talking about going to get his second opinion about a surgery. And Kelsey's like, wait, what? Why am I just finding out about this when you're getting a second opinion about something as serious as having spinal surgery? And he was like, I told you about it. She was like, no, you haven't. No, you didn't. She said, see, this is what I'm talking about. She said, I have no idea what's going on in your life. We don't have deep conversations. We talk about the surface. Hey, how you doing? How was your day? But I don't know about the deep stuff. I don't know what's going on in your life. And Justin is like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. She was like, no, I don't. She said, look, here's the thing. Where are we going with this? What is the situation? You know, she said, he said, well, we're getting ready to get engaged. She was like, whoa, what? Like, why are we getting ready to get engaged? Why is the next stop not getting engaged? She said, I don't know what else you want from me. I moved here for you. I lived with your family for you. I've dealt with all kinds of bullshit and disrespect from your friends and people who love you for you. And that's not enough for you to say, hey, this is the woman, that's my ride or die. This is who I want to be with for the rest of my life. And Justin was like, well, I don't know what it is that just holds me back. I don't know what it is um that keeps me from wanting to commit to you. And that's something I got to figure out. And Kelsey was like, yeah, you need to figure it out sooner rather than later. Because if not, then I need to make sure I'm not wasting my time. Now, here's the thing, Kelsey. You had the same conversation last season. So you have to figure out. I don't think you going, and again, I don't like to agree with Tamika on much, but on this one, I agree 100% with Tamika. Stop giving him all the power. See what you need to do? You need to pack your ass up. You need to pack that little puppy up, and you need to go get you an apartment. Just sign a 6-month lease. You ain't got to do nothing deep. But you have to give Justin a moment to miss you. And you have to give Justin time to understand that if you don't commit to me, I'm gone. But see, here's the thing. You got to really be ready to commit and do it. You got to really be ready to do it because, see, Reagan played that game and she lost. Anyway, I'm done. Let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments, please.